Okay, for the next part, we want to work on our side door. So, how can we create the side surface? This is a very big full surface, and you should create that first. I mean, the door surface is not created by working with some sections and trimming and creating other surface. No, this is one full surface which is intersecting with some other surfaces like that skirt and for example fenders, and there are some very big fillets around the fenders. So I just wanted to show that, because as your Alias experiences grows up, so now you have this ability to work on this by your own, because now you know what is the draft tool, what is the freeform blend, what is B-rail surface, and you can work with surfaces. You just need some experience. As you see, I have created a draft here. Let me just change the draft. Let me see, check that from the picture. Okay, for example, because in my blueprint there is no section, because there is a little fillet between the door surface and this drafted curve, so this drafted surface. So let me just move it manually, for example, something like this. Okay, one of the hard challenges that you have in Autodesk Alias and also this car, that we didn't work on it so much in this tutorial because we think it is very easy and you should do that by your own, is connecting the side surface to the back surface. There's a freeform blend here, or for example a big fillet. You should work on that before creating your shoulder and your trunk, because the position of that big freeform blend or big fillet is very, very important. But as we wanted to talk about the trunk and the shoulder, so we did that first. Okay, let me create a curve here. What can I do here? For example, this is only an example. I'm just watching this and there is a little crumb, so I'm creating a curve there with, for example, 2 CVs, and what I should do here is moving the CVs out, so the maximum curvature is at the middle, so I can have a crown surface. There is also another way here, as you know, I'm sure you know that. It is using freeform blend between the skirts, I mean the curve of the skirts, the surface that you can see on the side and down and bottom. So connecting that curve to your shoulder character line curve. This is also possible, and you can create a crown for that freeform blend and move the position of your crown and just achieve your surface. But this way is also possible. I have checked the maximum and minimum box, so I can see the minimum and maximum curvature here. So This is my minimum and I should move it up. So how can I do that? Just lift the CVs. This is very easy. You can do that in 10 seconds, for example. It's not very time consuming, as we have work on the fender, we have work on the trunk, on the hood, on the roof, on pillars and skirts. So this is very easy for you, and I think it is possible to anyone. Because I told you you should also work on another car through the tutorial. So my spans are so much, but it's not important for now. This is my body, for example. This is a full body surface, as I talked about that. So I should check the tilt of my surface, the crown of my surface, with my skirt, and as you see, this area is a little out, so I can move the CVs, for example, or create another curve there and use freeform blend. Let me just create some wireframe from this surface. One from here and one from here. Now I can move the CVs of this front curve. I can get some help from this stretch tool. Just click on that curve and move it outside. Move it. Okay. For example, something like this. More than this, maybe. And this area is going inside. Okay, my new surface is, for example, that could be 2 plus and 1. It is 3 and 1. Okay. Let me just choose 3 curves. You know, we can create this surface with also 2 rails or 2 freeform blends, for example. There are many ways to create this. Okay, for example, something like this. Spans are not important here. Just check that. It has changed a little, but you know, it is much outside because of the fender, so you can see that. So you should move the front CV outside more than this. As my surface is updating, so I can move the CVs right now, so it's going to automatically update. Okay, this is my side surface, and let me just edit the back. Working with 2 CVs is also possible. You know, 3 CVs are sometimes annoying the modeler, so it's not suggested. Two CVs are much better. Okay, here I can use the scale tool You know what, because I don't have the edge, so I have this circle here. Let me just copy paste that to watch that here in the black background. This is my circle. I'm just copying it, and I should scale that to project that to my side surface. For example, something like this. You know, there's a variable fillet there, so take care of that. Do not use a normal fillet there. You know, you can guess the tilt or the drafted surface here in blueprint. Something like this. Okay. And as you see, the back fender fillet is different from the front. As you see, this area, this reflection shows us the fillet. And as you see here, you don't have any small fillet, so it's not variable, and it's a normal fillet. So copy paste that, scale that, and you can check that on a back view, for example, or you can check that from the photo. Okay. Let me just move that inside. This is the way that you should play with surfaces and curve. I use skin for this part. Here one skin, and here another skin. Okay. Maybe I can use a draft tool. I just did that with a skin, or you can do that with freeform blend sometimes, or draft tool if you want. So, you know, the tilt of the back fender is much different. It is wider. So, let us see the whole picture. Okay, something like this. And as you see, here we have a problem here. And it is that the door is doesn't have any crown there. So you should remove the crown there by moving the CVs at your last of your, you know, the curve that is connected to your trunk. So here you have a little problem. But for now it's okay. And as you see here is you need a bigger fillet. So just move the CVs. Yes. Just move the CVs, and because it is updatable. As you see, your surface is going to change. Your intersect area, the intersected line is going to change. Don't forget that do not delete the crown when you're playing with this surface. Okay, I'm just playing with the surface. As you see, I had something like this up, and I'm not going to intersect the front fender because I want to work on this part now. Okay, the tilt of this surface is very important. How can you create this? You can just use a draft, add much more value here to have a good surface for intersecting, and now I can check that here. Okay, so what is the problem here? The problem is our surface has just lost its, yes, here we don't have any surface because we should have a surface here. So what we can do is just extending the surface. So you should just play with that. And as you see, it is going upward. So let me just remove the draft. Don't forget to extend that. I think this tilt is not okay. A little change has to be made. And here. Okay, something like this. So as you see, my surface is very close to the picture, and as I told you, as I talked about that, if you move the CVs of this surface wireframe, I mean that three main curves that we use that for the rail, you can achieve this photo exactly. So what I want to do here is just time-lapsing the next works on the surfaces. As you see, I'm just playing with surfaces. This is what you should exactly do with Autodesk Alias. I'm just playing with the surface to reach that quality. It is just time consuming for the first time, but after you did that, you find that you have did it very well. As you see, I have created two surfaces here, and it's much better now. It looks good. And here for the fender, I told you you can add some fillets here, variable fillet for the front fender and a normal fillet for the back fender. Just check the fillets, and if it was okay, so it's okay. If they were not okay, so you have a problem, you should move the CVs and play with your curves. I told you we don't need to explain anything anymore because you know how to work with surfaces, how to play with surfaces, you know the tools. So this tutorials just showed you how to create some part of this Audi, and you know, many students through the tutorial have completed this Audi RS3 sedan, and move to other cars. You can also work on another car. During this tutorial, some of my students went for an Audi TT, for example, an Audi R8. They have very simple surfaces, very simple fenders, very simple connections. I mean, going for Mercedes AMG, for example, or CLA, for example, at the first attempt of Autodesk Alias learning Alias is not very good, and it is hard for you because you can't play with surfaces. But as you see, when you work with, for example, this Audi RS3 sedan is not that hard. You know, it's not that easy and it's not that hard. It is good for learning Alias, so it has a challenge for you. As you see, I've completed my skirt connection, and what is needed here is just adding fillets. I'm just playing with the fender. You know, fenders of Audi RS3 is very simple. It's just created by connecting the trimmed surfaces with some fillets. I told you can work also on another fenders. You know, different cars have different fenders and they are all hard because you should find a way to create the surfaces of each car. I think most of Audi sedan cars are close together, have very close fenders. They are similar, but yeah, other models like Mercedes-Benz, like Porsche, like Lamborghini, like any other cars, they have different fenders and different connections, so it is very important to know how to play with surface, not know Autodesk Alias. You know, here I'm just showing you how to create a variable fillet. Just click on the checkbox here for the variable fillet, and when you click on that blue line somewhere, for example here, you can also decrease or increase the fillet value, and you have a fillet like this, for example. But you know, I should work more in this fender because it's not good now. Let me just add a fillet between my skirt surface and here, for example, and as you see, it's done. We can also add this fillet manually by using the tubular offsets, but for example this one, you can add fillets like this and it's good enough, but it should be curvature, so take care of this. You can work more on this. So for the next chapters, we're gonna work on the mirror of Audi RS3. Take care of that. It is a time-lapse video, and it just show you how to act and play in Autodesk Alias, how to play with surfaces, how to act in Autodesk Alias, how to work with hard connections. And it's very important for you to learn this, because modeling is all this, learning how to play with surfaces. It's not one car. You know, you're gonna model concept cars in the future, so keep safe and take care of your models.